Satnam, everybody. Powerful week. Why? Well, we have 3 planets going retrograde. So Saturn went retrograde on the 11th, and Venus is going to go retrograde on Wednesday, the 13th, and then Jupiter on 14th. So retrogrades aren't bad. Retrogrades are inward. They are about calling in the inward wisdom, where your outward life is connecting deep inside of you and what needs to be moved and healed and looked at. One of the big players is going to be Venus. Venus is retrograding in Gemini, and it is going to be harmonizing and using this new soul lesson. What is a soul lesson? A soul lesson from the universe comes in lots of ways. One of the biggest ways is the nodes. The nodes have been giving us a soul lesson for over a year and a half, 2018 through 2019, a little bit of 20, in Cancer and Capricorn. And it's interesting because during that time, it was about building a life and knowing that building our lives must connect to our hearts, must make us feel at home. And at the very end, we actually got sent home to work on ourselves, sent home to really bloom that Cancer and Capricorn energy into a lesson that will take us into the rest of our life with something we will never forget. Well, that soul lesson is changing, and it's changing into Gemini and Sagittarius. And so Venus is going to retrograde into Gemini. So there's going to be some major action around our love, the way we've loved in the past, and the changes and the healing that needs to be made. Don't be surprised if somebody you love, whether it's a lover or someone you loved in business or a best friend, that maybe there was a falling out, comes back around and you get a chance to listen and say what needs to be said. Because Gemini wants to communicate. It wants to talk it out. It wants to know the truth. It wants to listen, and it wants to learn. This is going to be a big time about learning. I'd love to help you see where your Gemini is in your chart. So when I'm actually a Gemini, Sagittarius, North and South node myself. And one of the things, if you look at me, it's so obvious. It's actually a meditation for me to learn about spirituality. I learn and learn and learn because that Gemini in me wants to learn, wants to listen. You know, I came in with this larger than life, kind of a know-it-all. What is that thing when you're like a little judger? Self-righteousness, huh? Holier than thou. Thank God for my husband. That's my Sagittarius. And Gemini wants me to know I'm just a regular gal and I just love to learn about God and I want to share it. It's about teaching groups and knowing that we are in it together. And it's a huge healing. So your South Node is a huge healing to you. So all the times in our lives, we're going to have a collective soul lesson, and through our entire life, we're going to have our personal soul lesson. And how that plays out is so interesting. We're going to be working with that in Tony's class this week on Wednesday and Sunday, my Saturday class. And when we come together on Thursday for the sound healing, we're going to work with the retrograde energy. We're going to work with Capricorn in Jupiter. We're going to work with Saturn. Now, Saturn is in Aquarius and it's retrograding. This is a big, it's a big healing. She's done a big push forward about how humanity needs to rebel, expand, and become. And now she's going to go back in and let's check ourselves. Let's make sure that where we are pushing up against our liberties and freedom, that it is for the good of all, that it comes from the right place inside of us, and that we do it with discipline. Self-discipline is what Saturn's all about. And if we do not discipline ourselves, so we're disciplining ourselves with this Aquarian energy, Saturn's going to retrograde all the way back into Capricorn and make sure that you're climbing the mountain and going after your goals, but and it's going to push back when it goes direct after September. It's going to be the Aquarian way. This is the best time ever to, whether you've done the Guru Is You before and you want to revamp and go through it again, or if you haven't done it, we're going to do it on Zoom and live. So there's wherever you are. This is so important because the Guru Is You training starts with the Aquarian Sutras. To me, it is Saturn and Aquarius. It's going to teach you how to live. When you look at the journeys, there's 6 journeys in this teaching. The first one is the rules of engagement. Saturn wants you to know, what are the rules of engagement? When we know the rules, it's interesting. When you know the rules, you know how to play them, and you know when you're supposed to break them. That's between you and God. That's a real thing, right? So, so much energy coming on this week. So this week could feel a little chaotic because that's 3 planets at once going retrograde. As we move into June, a couple more. So there's going to be a point when 7 energies are going to be retrograde. And this is about saying, stop in the name. Stop and go in and really listen to, plug into these planets, these energies, and really learn. The one thing too is when as we're moving out of this Cancer Capricorn, we're moving out of what we call cardinal energy. Cardinal is the warriors. It's the ones that go after. It's the warrior. It's the warrior energy. Now we're going into mutable. So when we start really embracing the Gemini Sagittarius soul lesson for the collective, we want to see where that is in our chart, because it wants to hold you in this place where you don't get, warrior, and you don't fixate, that you hold several things in your life and you let them move through you and you get yourself into a place of flow. Mutable wants to flow. Pisces, right? Pisces flows. Virgo is the most flowy earth, right? Sagittarius is flowing with the fire. It's heating up the soul. And Gemini flows the mind. It listens and it learns. It listens and it learns and it communicates. We are moving into a time of not being sticky. Learn, flow, become. So that's all I got for now. I love you so much. GDF is hoping to open on May 23rd. It will be on a limited basis. So I'm thinking 8 people only. We will check your temperature before you come in, and we will also remain live, at least the Mahan Rajas, to keep everybody else that is not ready to come back. And that's how we will also do the training. We will, I think we'll have a limited number that can be together live, and then we'll have the rest that will be Zoom. And if there's an overabundance of live, we'll take turns. It's going to be perfect. It's going to be such an Aquarian teaching. Sat Nam, I love you so much. Have the best week.